Episode 3. How about your mind is listening while you sleep? Tonight, before you fall asleep, try this. Ask someone to quietly whisper your name beside your bed. Not loudly, just enough to be heard. Now here's the mystery. You may not wake up when the air conditioner hums. You may sleep through distant traffic. You may even ignore the sound of rain. But somehow, your brain can notice a single familiar voice, a baby crying, a smoke alarm, or your own name. So, if you're completely asleep, who is still listening? We like to think of sleep as switching the world off. The lights go out, our eyes close, consciousness fades, and everything outside simply disappears. But imagine you're the captain of a ship sailing through a stormy ocean. You need rest, so you leave the bridge. Does the ship stop sailing? Of course not. Someone has to keep watch. Someone has to monitor the radar. Someone has to listen for danger. Your brain works in almost exactly the same way. When you fall asleep, another system quietly takes over. It doesn't read books. It doesn't solve equations. It doesn't scroll through social media. It listens, silently, patiently, every second. Not because it's curious, because it's protecting you. Scientists once believed sleep disconnected us from the outside world. Today, research suggests something far more fascinating. Your sleeping brain is constantly deciding what deserves my attention, and even more strangely, it often makes the right decision. How? How does a sleeping brain know the difference between harmless noise and genuine danger? Imagine a museum after midnight. The visitors have gone home. The lights are dim, the doors are locked. From outside, it looks completely empty, but inside, security cameras never blink, motion sensors never sleep. The control room is fully operational. The museum appears asleep, yet someone is always watching. Your brain has its own version of that control room. When consciousness fades, awareness doesn't completely disappear. It changes jobs. During the day, your brain pays attention to thousands of things at once. Conversations, faces, traffic, notifications, decisions. But during sleep, its priorities become very different. Instead of asking, "What should I do next?" it begins asking, "Am I safe?" Every sound that reaches your ears is quietly evaluated. The ceiling fan? Safe. The ticking clock? Safe. Rain hitting the window? Safe. Your brain labels these sounds as familiar, predictable, unimportant, so they slowly disappear into the background. Not because your ears stopped hearing them, but because your brain chose to ignore them. That's an incredible distinction. Sleeping doesn't stop hearing. Sleeping changes what deserves attention. And that's only the beginning. Because scientists discovered something even stranger. Your sleeping brain doesn't just hear sounds. Sometimes it understands them. Imagine sitting inside a noisy restaurant. Hundreds of conversations happen around you. You ignore almost all of them, until suddenly, someone at another table says your name. Instantly, your attention shifts. Psychologists call this the cocktail party effect. Your brain is constantly scanning for information that's personally important. Now here's the surprising part. Research suggests a version of this still happens while you're asleep. In sleep laboratories, scientists played different sounds to sleeping volunteers. Some sounds produced almost no reaction. Others created noticeable changes in brain activity. One of the strongest triggers? A person's own name. Even while asleep, your brain appears to recognize one of the most meaningful words you've ever learned. Think about that. Before you could speak, before you could read, your name became one of the first sounds your brain learned to identify. Years later, even sleep doesn't erase its importance. It's as if your mind quietly whispers, "Everything else can wait, but if someone calls us, we should probably pay attention." How? Because survival has always depended on recognizing what matters, and your brain has spent your entire life learning exactly what that is. Here's something almost every parent has experienced. A thunderstorm rolls through the night. The baby sleeps peacefully. The parents barely wake up. Hours later, the room is completely silent. Then, the baby lets out the tiniest cry. Within seconds, the parent is awake. How? The baby's cry isn't always louder than the thunder. It's simply more meaningful. Scientists believe the brain doesn't evaluate sounds only by volume. It also evaluates significance. A parent learns that a baby's cry could require immediate attention. So over time, the sleeping brain begins treating that sound differently. The same thing happens with smoke alarms, emergency sirens, breaking glass, even footsteps in unusual places. Your brain isn't sleeping through the world, it's filtering the world. Millions of years of evolution have trained it to ask one simple question: does this help us survive? If the answer is no, sleep continues. If the answer is yes, consciousness returns in an instant, which raises an even stranger question. If the brain can recognize voices, meaning, and danger while we're asleep, could it also learn something new? This idea has fascinated scientists for decades. Imagine mastering a new language while sleeping, learning mathematics overnight, or waking up fluent in piano. It sounds incredible. Unfortunately, current scientific evidence says that's not how learning works. Complex new knowledge isn't simply absorbed during sleep. Your brain still needs conscious learning while you're awake. But here's where things become interesting. Although sleep doesn't magically teach you new subjects, research suggests the sleeping brain can continue processing certain information. It can strengthen memories, reinforce learning that already began during the day, and in some carefully controlled experiments, people exposed to subtle sounds linked with earlier learning showed small improvements in recalling that information later. Scientists call this targeted memory reactivation. The name sounds complicated. The idea isn't. Imagine your brain placing thousands of memories onto shelves. Sometimes, a familiar sound gently reminds it, "Don't forget this one." That's very different from learning something completely new, but it's still remarkable because even during sleep, the brain is still working with information, still organizing, still deciding, still listening. Perhaps we've misunderstood sleep all along. Maybe sleeping isn't closing the doors to the outside world. Maybe it's closing most of them while leaving one small window open, just enough to notice danger, just enough to hear someone who matters, just enough to protect you while your conscious mind rests. Your body sleeps, your awareness changes, but somewhere deep inside, a quiet guardian never clocks out. It has one job: keep you alive until morning, and it has been doing that every single night of your life. Tonight, as you fall asleep, remember this: the silence around you isn't really silent. Your brain is still listening, still filtering, still protecting, still making thousands of tiny decisions you'll never know about. The greatest mystery isn't whether your sleeping mind can hear, it's how it always seems to know exactly what deserves to be heard. But if your sleeping mind is constantly making decisions, listening without your permission, protecting you without your awareness, then another question becomes impossible to ignore. How much of your life is being controlled before you're even conscious of it? That's the mystery we'll explore next. How about your subconscious controls more than you think?